What up, what up, what up? Your boy Beast Coast Grower 420 back with another Keeping It Real podcast. Today we got a new topic that we're going to touch on, so you guys join in. We'll give everybody a few minutes to get started. Roll your blunts, light your spliffs, do what you got to do. You already know. What up, what up, what up? I see y'all coming in. As you come in, don't forget to hit that thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever makes you happier. Don't forget to drop your questions into the chat, and we'll get to your questions as we get to them. Nothing gets skipped over. If I do happen to skip over one of your questions, feel free to go ahead and repost it, and we'll be started shortly. We're just getting everybody in. So you guys go ahead and share the stream over to all of the homies on Instagram. Share the stream to wherever you need to get some people involved in these conversations. You already know. I'm just giving everybody a little bit of time to come in. So just give us like maybe 30, 45 more seconds and then we'll get started. Today's topic is going to be the double standard between old school breeding and new school breeding. Because now, the main reason that I touch these topics is because I feel like the newer breeders, the newer growers, the younger generation that's coming up right now, they don't have nobody speaking for them, and they're catching a lot of flack over the way that they're moving today. And I don't get it. We're gonna get into that today, but somebody got to be the voice of the new generation that's out here, because they're just getting discouraged left and right and getting things blamed on them as if anything has changed. So I'm going to be the voice of the little homies that's coming up right now, whether you're breeding, whether you're growing, no matter what you're doing. I'm going to be the voice of these people, because the old school breeders, they got like a cult that just attacks all of the new breeders. So today we're going to talk about that. So we'll just give people a few more minutes, seconds to come in. You guys go ahead and share the stream over to some people on Instagram, get some other people involved in this conversation. Make sure that Peace, King, peace. Make sure that you get some people involved. Don't be afraid to drop your question into the chat. Only stupid question is a question that's not asked. So join in. I'm just sharing the stream real quick. Give me just a few more seconds. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever makes you feel better as you come in. We just need reactions, because the more you guys hit that thumb, the more people are able to see these streams and we can get more people involved. Don't forget, in the up and coming weeks, we're going to have Gas House on here. I'm trying to get Elevated Cannabis on here. I'm trying to get Low Key Grow on here. There's a few really good growers that I'm trying to get on here. There's going to be some old school growers that I'm trying to get on here so they can just tell us a little bit about the history of cannabis, the things that they used to have to go through to even be able to get cannabis or grow the cannabis, the old school breeders, what they have to do to be able to acquire the genetics. We'll dispel some myths about where a lot of genetics came from, because we'll be able to have those growers that have been growing 30, 40 years that could come and give us that information. So I also don't want you guys to think that I just have a huge attack on all of the older growers. That's not what it is at all. I just think that the newer growers need a voice for them. No one has been a voice for them. So y'all go ahead and light up. I'm gonna do the same. Know what I'm saying, light something up for you. Put what you smoking in the chat. That's something we always got to do. Let us know what you smoking. Know what I'm saying, and if you can say, let us know where you from. Give me 1 second. Let me get my mind right. What we smoking on? What we smoking on? Y'all let me know what y'all over there smoking on. What's getting y'all faded? Some of y'all new cultivars that's out right now. I pray that none of y'all had to go to none of those dispensaries paying $75 an eighth for some booth. Jordan Williams, what's happening? What's happening? Okay, so I guess we can get started. We can get started. So today we're going to talk about the double standard that is between the older breeders and the newer breeders. Because every time that I'm speaking to one of the older breeders, the breeders that been out here doing this for a while, the breeders from back in the days, the ones where a lot of the land race strains were coming out, when the Hindus was out, when the AK-47 was out, when the Christmas tree buds was out, the white widows, the white rhinos, the northern lights, the death stars, when these genetics were out, all of the old school breeders attempted to get their hands on these genetics. And you know why they wanted to get their hands on these genetics? Because it had traits that they wanted to be able to pass on when they was creating a new gear. So they wanted to be able to acquire the northern lights, whether they could only get the cut or whether they had to pheno hunt it themselves. They wanted to get the ChemDs. They wanted to get the SFVOGs. They wanted to get the Hindu Kushes. They wanted to get a lot of these strains so that they could do some breeding with them, so that they can bring themselves into the future, so that they can create new strains. They wanted those Hindu Kushes. They wanted those big Buddhas. They wanted the cheese. They wanted the big buds. They wanted all of these strains to be able to do breeding. And because of that breeding that they did back then with a lot of these same strains, that's the reason we have the strains that we have today. Now, my issue with this is the older growers are now saying that all the new growers are doing are breeding with the same strains. They're breeding with all of the hype strains that are out right now. But I feel like the older growers were breeding with the hype strains that were around then. They were attempting to acquire the exact same genetics, the bubble gums, the DJ shorts, blueberries. If you check, I believe it's Phylos. I believe Phylos is the one that took a whole bunch of strains to be able to backtrack the DNA of these strains, almost like ancestry, but this is going to be the ancestry for cannabis. So Phylos attempted to do the same thing. And when you look back at it, a whole bunch of the strains that we have today pretty much came from the same exact group of genetics at its base. So at its base, there was a bunch of breeders from back in the day that were using the exact same strains to be able to make the ones that we have today. But now they're mad at the new generation for taking the strains that they have today to create new strains that they will have into the future. And I don't understand this. I don't know why there's such a double standard with this, as if the new breeders are doing anything different than the old breeders. Like they're basically trying to say that the new breeders are just bottlenecking the genetics. What they're doing is everything has to be crossed with gelato. Everything has to be crossed with runts. Everything has to be crossed with Girl Scout cookie. Everything has to be crossed with Sunset Sherbet, Thin Mints, you guys go ahead in the chat and put some of the other strains that are real popular right now that people are breeding with: the apple fritters, the biscottis, the gelato 33, the gelato 45, a lot of the new strains that's out right now. These are the strains that the new generation know. This is the strains that the new generations fell in love with. These are the strains that bring back memories and good times for some of the new growers. That papaya, yeah, papaya is definitely another one. Runts, papaya. So these are the strains that this generation is attempting to breed with GMO. And the reason that the GG4, the reason that they're attempting to breed with them is because it reminds them of their childhood. So when they were coming up as teenagers, they wasn't smoking no Acapulco Gold. They wasn't smoking no White Rhino. They wasn't smoking no Northern Lights. They wasn't even smoking Kim. And I love Kim. I fucking love it. But they wasn't smoking that shit, so they don't know anything about it. So according to them, during their childhood, Gorilla Glue was jumping. During their childhood, Blue Dream was jumping. During their childhood, Girl Scout Cookie was coming out. During their childhood, Durban Poison, Rolex OG, Marathon OG, Motor Breath, all of the breaths. Thanks to Thug Pug for coming out with a lot of the breaths, the OG Kush breath crosses, the Mendo breath crosses. So this is what this generation is attempting to do, is the strains that we fell in love with coming up, some of the most potent strains that we had growing up. We're going to take those and we're going to use them to create something new. Now, some of them we don't have the option of pheno hunting through. We don't, Frosty, what's good with you, man? Yet we don't have the option of pheno hunting through some of these strains. The original Girl Scout cookie that came out, that was a clone only. The original Gorilla Glue that came out, that was a clone only. So you can't get mad at the new breeders for just dealing with the circumstances that they have to deal with. A lot of the new strain, Dosido, a lot of the new strains that are out right now is literally clone onlys. Now, did they release them in seed once people found out what the cross was? Yes. So now you're able to pheno hunt through them, but even though it didn't come from the original genome from the strain that you were looking for, once you know Runts is gelato crossed with Skittles, if somebody has a good cut of gelato and a good cut of Skittles, they can make their own version of Runts that could actually be better than the cut that they found. That's another thing I don't like. Just because you didn't get the exact same genome of the clone only one. Look, this is what makes me mad. Some people will be like, oh, that's not real Runts. That's not real Runts. But they've never gone to the people who created Runts and actually got any Runts from them and smoked the Runts from them to know if the one that they actually had that they're calling real is fake or not. You don't even know. You never went to the cookie store. You never went to the Runts people who created it and actually got a pack of Runts from them and smoked it to be like, okay, so now I know in the future, if I'm going to be getting anything from anybody else, I have the official one to compare it to. You guys are just saying basically because of who you sourced it from, it's the official one. You honestly don't know that, especially if you've never gone to the creator of the strain to be able to try it yourself. If you never got no cookies from Burner and you wind up with a cut of cookies later on that you're saying this is the official cookie. You don't know if it's the official cookie if you've never had the official cookie. So it's just a really good guess. You're relying on the fact that someone actually sourced this the way that they needed to. But to me, it doesn't matter. So Medicropper right now has the official cut of Runts, but he also has fake Runts, as people will call it. He said the fake Runts that he got is actually better than the real one. And this is the type of shit that'll happen once a strain gets released. Now, the old school breeders, they were doing the same things. They were sourcing the cuts that were potent to them. They were sourcing the cut that they felt like had good flowers. So when that Hindu Kush touched, do you think that there was not breeders all over the country attempting to get their hands on that Hindu? When the SFV, when the Scots OG, when the Kim D, when the what are some of the other ones that were really popular? The Northern Lights, White Widows, like the Christmas tree buds, because back then no one knew what was. Now I'm saying they would give you packs, they would say what it is, but then you find something, you rename it based off of the smell. Now everyone's looking for this strain, and it's became so popular that when they do breeding with this strain, it's going to be based off what the person who found it decided to name it. So if somebody says, okay, this is Kim, but I got it from some Afghani, it's all of a sudden now going to be Kim. It's not going to be Afghani no more. It's going to be what the person who released that cut named it. GDP, another good one. I actually don't even like GDP. I wish people would stop fucking using that. That's how Purple Punch wound up getting made, and it was fucking terrible. From reaching back and trying to get strains that test 13, 14% THC and attempting to bring them into the future. If there's dogs out here now, so in the dog breeding world, If a dog didn't make the cut, the dog didn't make the cut. If the dog's breed did not survive into the future because it just didn't make the cut, then it just didn't make the cut. And the snake business, it's the same way. There's snakes that used to be worth something. There's snakes that you used to want to breed with. There's snakes that used to be able to bring you a good dollar. There's snakes that used to really get people's attention. But if you bring that same snake today, first off, it's going to be cheap as shit, and you're going to have a hard time even being able to find somebody who wants it. So the new breeders, the new growers, they're attempting to just make a mixture of the things that they feel like are the best. And they're not going to tell me that no dope shit didn't come out of it. You're not going to tell me that no dope shit didn't come out of it. Some real dope shit was able to come out of these new breeders crossing and making new shit. I almost feel like you downgrading the breeders in the work that they putting in today by just basically saying that they're bottlenecking strains by crossing the same strains. I don't know what world you live in where everyone's crossing the same strains. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what breeders you're following that are strictly crossing the same thing. You could go to Seed Junkie. He has a bunch of different crosses. Now, at base, he might have used the same male, but that's how you create your breeding line. You have your stud male and you use that to make your strains. Now, when Exotic Genetics did it, it was no issue. It's only certain, and the only reason that it wasn't an issue when Exotic Genetics did it is because he's considered an old school grower and an old school breeder. So when Exotic Genetics takes the same male to create a bunch of his strains, when Exotic Genetics decided to take its cookies and cream and create a whole bunch of new strains, nobody blamed him for bottlenecking genetics. It's only the new breeders. I don't know if y'all been to Frosty McNasty yet. You could go over to his Instagram page. You'll be able to get more information as to where you can acquire the genetics. But if you go, Frosty ain't out here crossing the same shit. Does he have the hype shit that people want? Yes, because he would be stupid to not breed what the people want. That would just be nonsense. That'd be nonsense. I've grown some exotic genetics. I've just never found anything good out of it. Even the cookies and cream to me was not that great. The cookies and cream was not that special. It was decent herb, you know what I'm saying? And I'm being polite by saying that it was decent herb. But there's a big contradiction that's happening between the old breeders and the new breeders. You cannot blame these new breeders because you might not define the strain as old because of how old you are. This is based off generations. So when I was growing up, there was Sour, there was Kim, there was Haze. My little brother doesn't really know much about Sour, Kim, and Haze. He knows about Girl Scout Cookie. He knows about GG4. He knows about Sunset Sherbet. He knows about the Guava. He knows about the Runts. He knows about the Biscottis. He knows about the strains that were popular during his era, and it's going to be a completely different. These young dudes have the right to evolve and create better genetics off the backs of the people who created the ones for them. So thank you to all of the new breeders who created the fire that we can work with now. We don't want to go back and start taking 7% testing THC strains and bringing them into 30% THC testing strains, because to work the booth out of it will take years. It will take years to work the booth out of it, and by then your company's not even going to be able to same way because people are dropping so many genetics so fast. It would take you 2 or 3 years to work the booth out of a strain to be able to release it. And it's going to be a very small niche market of those old school growers that are even going to want to grow that shit to start off with. Even going to want to grow it to start off with. So it's not that we don't want to reach in the past to unlock some potential. We just haven't even finished hunting through all of the shit we have now. We still haven't got a chance to hunt through these and find new phenos. We haven't. It might sound good. It might sound like we can, but strains have been created a mile a minute. When Jungle Boys first came out, god damn, between the wedding cake and the mimosa and all of the other strains that were made popular by the Jungle Boys, doing that interview with Burner where he walked them through the facility and they started talking about some of these strains and became popular. They might have been popular before that, but that's when I got put onto them. They've created so much dope shit for people to want to be able to work with now. It'd be nuts to say that Jungle Boys needs to reach back and grab some Northern Lights just to unlock the potential of the fire that they have now. They've already unlocked the potential of the fire that they got now. Now they want to take it a step further. And I don't see that there's no problem with that because the old school breeders had to do the same thing. You're not going to tell me no different because when Philos did the research as to where a lot of the strains we have now come from, it wasn't that many strains that it linked back to. Y'all got to remember that it wasn't a whole bunch of strains that it linked back to. It linked back to a lot of the same strains because they're just different phenos of the exact same packs of seeds that were coming from Holland. What do you think? You think Holland had a variety like Attitude Seed Bank? Is that what you're saying? You think that Holland had a variety like Attitude Seed Bank? No. Attitude Seed Bank got so much fucking gear. There's not an old school breeder that's going to tell me that they was able to work with more genetics than what we have today. Again, we still have not unlocked the potential of the shit that we have today. No point in reaching back too far. I'm not saying don't go backwards, but I'm saying y'all trying to reach back so far. Y'all trying to strain hunter reach back. Like y'all want the Colombian Swiss and like, bro, we don't need to go back that far to unlock some genetics. There's still probably some shit here that we still haven't got through yet. And the new breeders are trying to get through that. And y'all sitting here bashing them saying, oh, you guys are just breeding with the same thing. It's just the same strains over and over again. Well, according to the data, a lot of the strains that we had is from you old breeders using the exact same things over and over again to create new gear. It's just the facts. They're not going to tell me when Kim D came out that every breeder was not attempting to get their hands on it and breed with it. You're not going to tell me when skunk got popular that every breeder was not attempting to, whether they can get the clone only, whether they can only get a clone, or whether they can pheno hunt it themselves. You're not going to tell me that these breeders were not attempting to get their hands on the hottest shit that was out there in their time. It's a fact that they were, because the genetics showed that it came from a lot of the same shit. It's just the facts. It's just the facts. And not especially Afghani. You can't even imagine how many strains came out of packs of Afghanis. You can't even begin to imagine, because if the Afghanis are coming from different parts of Afghan, they're actually going to have different variations. The ones that grow up in the mountain are going to grow very different than the ones that grow in the plains. It's going to be very different. So there was a wide range of genetics that you were able to get out of the Afghanis. So a lot of strains will link back to Afghani, but why do so many strains link back to Afghani? Because when one grower decided to tell another grower about how good Afghani was, all the breeders decided to hunt through it to find their own Afghani. So today, when the new breeders decide like, oh shit, runts just dropped, damn, I wonder if I cross this gelato that I got that's fire with this Skittles that I got, can I find something that's even better than that one? And if I cross that with something else that I got, can I make something that's even better than that? This is what they're doing today, and this is what they were doing back then. Ain't nothing changed. This shit is the same shit that's been going on for the longest of times. I just don't get why the new school breeders have to catch flack over breeding with the same strains that back in the day they were breeding with the same strains. The only reason that these old school growers want the genetics that they want is because it was all over the place. Now, the reason that it was all over the place is because all the growers and breeders wanted the exact same strains. That's the reason. Yeah, when Northern Lights was popular, everybody wanted Northern Lights. So you know what all the growers and breeders had to do? They had to acquire Northern Lights. So when it was time for them to make crosses of what's in their staple, Northern Lights is in the fucking staple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then from that, finding a Northern Lights that was better than the one they have, they kill off the pheno they have. Now they have a new pheno. Now it's 18 different people that got a different version of Northern Lights. But when they do crosses, you're still bottlenecking the genetics because you're all using Northern Lights. I don't care if it's a different pheno. It's still the same genetics. It's still the same genetics. Same way that the breeders today. And then most of the strains that the breeders have to work with today are clone-only strains. Something else you guys didn't have to deal with back in the day with a whole bunch of clone-only strains. So if you want the actual genome of a strain that you fell in love with and you want to make something new with it, you're literally either going to have to make FEMs depending on the strain that you want to cross it with, or you're going to have a whole bunch of gear that is going to have that genetic in it. And I don't see no issue with it. I don't see no issue with it. These growers want to take the shit that they think is fire and cross it into other shit that they think is fire to create some new fire. And if you think that that shit hasn't been working, I don't know what hole you've had your head in the cannabis industry. But this has been like the last maybe, I got to say the last maybe 8 or 9 years, it's been nothing but pressure coming out. I don't know what neck of the woods you guys are from. I don't know what Amish community y'all live in. Y'all might not be watching YouTube. You guys might not be up to date on the genetics that's available right now, but they've been breeding pressure off the backs of the old strains. I have no issue with that. Off the backs of the old strains, we got newer strains. Off the backs of those newer strains, We got newer strains. Off the backs of those newer strains, we got newer strains. Then we come into the breeders of today that are taking those newer strains and making newer strains. And this is how it works. And this is how it works. What breeder what? A little bit more specific on that question. Yeah, there's 15 people in here. Why we only got 10 thumbs up? Drop me some thumbs up. Hi, Spy. What's up with you? Thanks for joining in. What breeder what? I always say this. You're never going to be able to find a breeder that's not breeding with another breeder's gear. No way around it. No way around it. That's another thing. Uh, they're saying that the new generation, they're not really breeding because they're just using other people's gear to make new gear. Back in the day, you guys took other people's gear to make new gear. You ordered your seeds from Holland. You guys did not create those seeds. You did not make those crosses. You did not create those strains. They got sent to you. You pheno hunted. You found something. You made crosses. It's the same thing that the breeders of today are doing. But for some reason, they're getting flack for the same exact things. Where do you think they learned it from? Where do you think these breeders learn this from? They didn't know how to grow. They had to go on YouTube like everybody else and learn how to grow. Or they had to talk to somebody that taught them how to grow. And this information has been passed down generation after generation. They wouldn't know how to breed. They wouldn't know how to make reversals. They wouldn't know how to do none of this if the old school breeders didn't tell them what to do. So now that they're doing what was taught to them and putting their own little twist on it, somehow they're doing something wrong. I don't feel like that. What breeders do you think are worth investing in, or are cuts the way to go? I feel like you're gonna have to pheno hunt sometimes to be able to find something that's strictly yours. Well, but I like right above you, UCX THC hybrid, very good breeder, great breeder. Frosty McNasty, great breeder. King Black 420, great breeder. 813 Genetics, great breeder. Square One Genetics, great breeders. Empire Breeding Co., great breeders. Seed Junkie, great breeders. I think Low Key Grow is still making some crosses. Great breeder. Copycat Genetics is making a lot of stuff. It's been hit or miss with me, but I've seen people find some real good strains out of the Copycat Genetics. Now, you may want to hunt through a whole pack when you're doing your pheno hunts because it's definitely going to be some boof in there, but definitely worth hunting. Definitely worth hunting. Those are the breeders that I go along with. People under the stairs. People under the stairs are pretty good breeders. I like people under the stairs. They like to breed with a lot of the gas, and I love gas. So people under the stairs. Everybody thought that I didn't like them because I reposted their they did a White Widow cross, and I was like, in 2020, who the fuck is making White Widow crosses? Like, you got to be outside of your fucking mind. This is how you exit stage left in the cannabis industry. And everyone took that shit to heart, but nothing against. It was just a joke, man. You guys got to relax. I hate that the older generation also doesn't have a fucking sense of humor. They used to bag on each other all day. They used to make jokes about each other all day. Now, in the newer generation is roasting. Now we're bad people, and we're haters, and we're scared to say it to people just because man, relax before you become a meme. Oh, what's everybody smoking on? You guys never said. What are you guys smoking on? But yeah, ganja grower, if you can, source good cuts. Source good fucking cuts. But I still find myself doing pheno hunts. I'm doing a pheno hunt right now from Empire Breeding Co. Doing a pheno hunt as we speak, hunting through the Face on Fire F2s and the Safari Sunsets. Doing a pheno hunt right now. Right before this, I just did a pheno hunt. Yeah, real runs. Look, out of all the people who keep talking about real runs, none of them have went to the store and actually bought real runs from the niggas who created runts. And because they've never done this, they can't convince me that the runts that they're smoking is 100% the actual runts. You have no idea because you've never actually gone to the people who created it and tried the flower to compare it to. So what if the one that you're getting isn't actual runts, but is better than the one that you're going to go and get at the dispensary? Then what? Then what? Now you've been happy with this runts. You've been thinking that this is the real runts. This is the official runts. Know what I'm saying? And come to find out it's not, but it's 100 times better than the one that they grew. Then what? Then what? Now you move forward and you start breeding with the cutter runts that you have and you rename it. You just rename it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I don't get why we got to take it to heart so much that, oh my God, you don't have the exact same one that this person got. Nigga, I got gelato crossed with Skittles. That's all I know. I got gelato crossed with Skittles. Someone else Pheno hunted this gelato crossed with Skittles. Someone else Pheno hunted that gelato crossed with Skittles. Miss me with your bullshit. Miss me with your bullshit. It still runs. It still runs. I got a bunch of different phenos of peanut butter cookie. Are you going to tell me that all of them are not peanut butter cookie? Same genetics, they all still peanut butter cookie. I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck if let's say XTHC hybrid decides to hunt a peanut butter cookie and he finds a completely different one in mine. It's still fucking peanut butter cookies. Still came from the same genetics. So I never really got into all of that. Find a cut, make sure that is good, run with it. Oh, good. Yeah, you got your weed in this fire. Yeah, good, good. Smoke your own shit, people. Smoke your own shit. I don't care who you get weed from. The shit you grow, 9 out of 10 times, even if you fuck up 9 out of 10 times, it's gonna be better than a whole bunch of the other shit you get. My homie came back from a dispensary the other day, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting. I couldn't believe that this shit was $75 an eighth. It was terrible, leafy boof. Like, I can't believe that that's what's at the dispensary. And I'm actually really glad that I never go to a dispensary and I can reach out to the homies if I run out and get something good to smoke on. You only go to the club when you don't got the plug. Now, again, I know everybody's probably, as soon as they hit a legal state, the first thing that you're gonna want to do, pop in at a dispensary, throw it up on Instagram. I know how it goes. And I'm saying everybody got to experience it. You got to get it out of your system. But dispensaries be selling boof, like boof. Your local homie at the corner store where you're gonna go and buy your wraps or your paper from probably has something that's very comparable to what the fuck is at the dispensary. The only difference is his apes will be $35 cheaper. You think we was smoking premium flush cannabis under LEDs back in the day? Exactly, bro. Exactly. 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 But thanks to the older growers for stealing them street lights, thanks to the older growers for getting them shop lights out of or wherever they was getting them from, Home Depot or whatever. Shout out to the old school growers who had to like MacGyver their own lighting sources to even be able to grow indoor. Shout out to the guerrilla growers that used to be out in the field making sure that we had some real good outdoor to smoke on before the indoor game was even pumping. Shout out to them. I'm saying I'm really thankful for them. I don't want older growers to assume that I'm not grateful for the work that they put in for us to have what we have now. But don't get mad at us for taking what we have now and trying to propel it into the future, because somebody took what those older growers had and they propelled it into the future for us. So now we're taking what they left for us and we're trying to propel that into the future as well. We're just trying to keep moving forward. And don't say that we're crossing a bunch of the same strains, because all of these strains come from the same strains. So even if you're crossing different strains, you're still crossing a bunch of the same fucking strains. Still growing the same strains. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We grow amazing flower now, thanks to a lot of those old growers who was passing on the knowledge, and we got chances to tweak it. We got chances to play with it a little bit more. Like, imagine back in the day, you didn't have nowhere to grow. You didn't have nowhere to go to if you had a problem with your plants. You could just go somewhere and learn how to fix it, and next week your plants is back healthy and you could get a good run in. They didn't have that opportunity. They had to do this shit from skill, and they had to do it by trial and error. So they were losing whole rounds and literally just trying to figure out exactly what the problem was, where it came from, and how to fix it for the next one. Yeah, the forums. Yeah, now we got YouTube and forums and all sorts of shit. This used to be real hush hush, and it used to be really hard to find out what you were dealing with when it came to growing. There was small circles of people who were mainly doing a lot of the growing. It wasn't like this big thing that it is now, where I could just turn on YouTube and type in bottom of my plants yellowing, and the 17,000 pages pop up of bottom of the plants yellowing, where they're giving you video documented proof on how to fix this shit. They didn't have that back in the day. So shout out to those growers for working out them kinks for us to know what to do now. They made the mistakes for us. They made a lot of those mistakes for us. And we made a lot of mistakes for the newer generation to be able to come in. So they coming in now, Gavitas, LEDs, and I'm saying getting fucking throwing up 2 different LED lights. I don't care if you're throwing up the PLCs or the HLGs. They getting fucking 1.8 per light, very first run, no CO2. And I'm saying because there's good strains now and there's good growers teaching them how to become better growers. We want them to be better than us. That's my thing. I want the new generation to be better than us. If not, then we failed them. If the newer generation does not surpass what we did, then we failed them. We failed them. And if the generation before me did not get better than the generation before them, then they would have been failures too. And the failure would have continued until somebody did something different. Until somebody did something different. And now we got breeders that's like, you know what? Now that we can reverse and make feminized seeds, we can save people a bunch of time. We can save people a bunch of space. You don't have to worry about males anymore. But there's still other breeders out there that are breeding F1s and F2s, and you can still get males if you're one of the people who want to do the breeding. But if you're somebody who just want the strain, and you don't want to have to deal with no males, you just want to find a good pheno of a strain and you like what the cross is on it, then go ahead and buy it. And you don't have to worry about no males taking up no space in it. And it's a great thing. Facts. Facts. Don't want to be out here smoking no booth. So yeah, I think the older generation got to let up a little bit. They got to cut the new generation some slack. You guys were doing the exact same thing. Go check how many crosses are made with skunk. Go check how many crosses are made with Afghan. Go check how many crosses that are made with Big Buddha. Go check how many crosses are made from UK cheese. Go check how many crosses are made from Neville's Haze. Go check how many crosses are made with blueberries and the rest of these strains. Go check how many crosses are made from chocolate Thai. Go check how many crosses are made from Colombian gold. Go check how many crosses are made from Acapulco gold. Go check how many crosses are made from Panama red. You're going to see tons and tons and tons of different breeders that were using the exact same strains to create new genetics. If it worked back then for them, don't say that it's not going to work now for us. That's my issue. I don't like the hypocrisy. Stop downgrading the new generation. They are doing a great fucking job. Everybody can do better. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. So is there a little bit too many of the same crosses out there? Maybe. But there's also so many breeders out there that's working with so much different gear that you don't exactly have to be stuck with just fucking with this one group of people. You don't have to be stuck with just this one breeder. You could go to somebody that's completely different and be able to get you something that no one else has. I'm telling you, everything that I found from Square One Genetics was completely different than anything I got from any other breeder. Not saying that I didn't get fired from any other breeder. The shit from Square One Genetics was just fucking elite. Fucking elite. The shit from Empire Breeding Company, fucking elite. Elite. Every pheno ice cream cake from Seed Junkie, fucking elite. Elite shit. Elite shit. And they're 3 completely different breeders. They have 3 completely different tastes, use 3 completely different males, make 3 completely different types of crosses. Then you could get to the 813s and the THC hybrids and the Frosty McNasty and the people that are coming up now. You know what I'm saying? And I love what they're doing. Frosty got so many fucking different strains that he's about to cross. If you ain't seen his video, get over to Frosty McNasty on YouTube and make sure that you go watch the video of the crosses that he's about to make. Man, have your fucking mouth watering. Have your fucking mouth watering. And it's tried and true because he's already bred fire. He's already bred strains that were fucking amazing. But I love the fact that he always wants to better himself. He always wants to perfect his craft. He always wants to tweak it. He always wants to make the little odds and ends. He always wants to make sure that every round is a little bit better. Every breeding session is going to be a little bit better. Every cross is going to be a little bit better. He never stays stagnant. He's never just like, these are the strains I like, and I'm going to keep on hunting these and making F2s and F5s and F7s. No, no, no. Some new shit come out. That shit booming, that shit fire. Trust me, he's gonna have it in his garden. He's gonna acquire it, and he's gonna make some fire ass crosses out of it. I love watching people who are not afraid to upgrade, make their mistakes, and show it to us. I love that, and I respect that a ton. So if y'all ain't get over to Frosty McNasty yet, I don't even know what you're doing. Stop this live stream, open up another window. Go type in Frosty McNasty on Instagram, Frosty McNasty on YouTube, and get over there, hit that subscribe and hit that notification bell. And while you're here, make sure that you hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell and give me some thumbs up, people. The thumbs up is really important for YouTube people that are trying to get their page to grow, because the more thumbs up I get, the more people are able to see the stream, so we can get more people in here, have more content, have new people. Trust me, we're going to be doing some interviews from some massive facilities. I promise you. I've already been in talks with a couple of different people that have gigantic facilities, and we're going to have them on here so you guys can ask them questions about commercial cultivation. We're also going to have some people who crush 4x4. Oh my gosh, I got a dude who's fucking killing a 4x8 tent, 4x8 gorilla grow tent. I don't know if he's doing flood and drain or what. I'll let him get in here and be able to explain his system to you. And a 4x8 tent, he is fucking crushing it. His garden looks 600 times better than any of the gardens that I have. And he's in a 4x8 fucking tent, crushing it. Clean setup, beautiful LEDs. He's already ready. I'm just trying to set up a date that we could get him in here. And hopefully I could get Frosty too, because he comes up with great questions to be able to ask these growers. So that's what I'm talking about. Get a whole toxic line, bro. Get a whole toxic line. Cross the toxic with something. As soon as you find a keeper out of that something that you cross that toxic with, take that, cross it, back cross it, get you a male from that situation, take that male and propel yourself into the future with your own toxic line, and then get you a little spot on Attitude Seed Bank and the rest of them where people can go and acquire your gear. And if you don't, then create your own website where you're able to go ahead and do what you got to do. But you might run into some problems with that in the future. So seed banks ain't such a bad idea sometimes. I'll talk to you about that. Make sure you DM me, because there's some people that have been going through some issues with their own page releasing their own seeds. Yeah. Different conversation for a different day. I really thank y'all for even being in here, man. I never thought I'd be able to do this, start a podcast, have a bunch of great people in here, smoking some good old gas, having real conversations. Nobody's in their feelings. I remember in my first couple of live streams, we had the homie Hydro in here. We had a couple different people in here, and they were disagreeing, and it stayed respectful the entire time. This is one person that got a little bit out of line, but I don't take shit to heart. You know what I'm saying? I don't take shit to heart. That's the cannabis industry, and we men. Sometimes men gotta bark. It's okay. I won't hold it to heart that you barked at me. I just bark back. So I love it, man. I love the fact that we was able to make this podcast and get a bunch of different growers in here. And I hope that all you growers are following each other. Like, we got 20 different people in here. I pray that each one of you guys know who each other is. Like, we need to start really linking together and making this a nice community of people where we can get some good information out there. I love doing this podcast, man. I love being able to answer questions for y'all. And when I can't answer questions, I got growers like Frosty McNasty. One day, we're gonna get Square One Genetics on here. You don't have to worry about that. I already talked to him about that. We may get Empire on here. I already talked to Gas House, so we're gonna get Gas House, and I'm hoping if I could get Gas House that I could get Viola, and I'm hoping if I can get Viola that I can get Tyson, and I could get a lot of growers who are new to this, that like these people haven't had their grows for that long. Now I'm saying, so we'll be able to get them in there and be able to get some real good questions answered. Real good questions. I'm gonna keep content on here. I got a new video that's gonna go up tonight, a grow room update, so you guys watch for after this live stream goes up. We're going to be putting up a new video of the grow update. The grow's going great. Everything is still beautiful. A couple of strains I got a problem with, just stay a little bit too small. But are you breeding yet? Here's the thing. I really don't want to be a breeder. That's just the truth. It's just so many people want my Brisker OG. And instead of making them pay what I want for a cut of that Brisker OG, I could just S1 the Brisker OG. And even though it's S1s, there's still variation. Like, people think that just because it's S1, everything is going to come out identical like it's clones. No, there's still going to be some more potential to unlock when you pop those seeds from the Brisker OG S1s. So when I do that S1 run, I already got it set up. The lights is up. They're vegging, recovering nice. I'm waiting to get the shit to reverse it, and we're gonna cross that with a whole bunch of other shit too. But what I might do is get the seeds from that run. The Brisker OG S1s will be released probably through Robinhood Seeds. So you'll probably have to go through them to get the S1s. But I'll probably run through the rest of the gear. And after I run through the rest of the gear, I'm going to find keepers of all of that. And the keepers that I have, I'll just release cuts of. So I don't want to be a breeder. I don't want to be a breeder. I'd rather refer you guys to 813 Genetics, XTHC Hybrid, THC Titan, Frosty McNasty. I'd rather refer you guys to them. They like breeding. They have the time to take out to do that. I just want to grow fire, and I don't really care who I get it from. I know I don't want to be a breeder, though. I don't. If I did, I'm just gonna breed with gas. It's gonna be a bunch of OGs crossed with chems and sours, and it's gonna be a bunch of fucking pressure. Bunch of pressure. Dominatrix, lemon lava drop, face on fire. I was just talking to Empire Breeding Co. the other day, and I found a beautiful male out of the seed hunt that I just did for him. Found a real beautiful male, and I asked him, could I keep it to one day maybe do some breeding in the future? And he said I'm good to go. So that's something that I'm gonna keep in the chamber right there. A face on fire male, and I believe face on fire is Wi-Fi 42. I believe it's the 42. Wi-Fi 42 crossed with face off OG. So it's straight pressure, straight gasolina, like smell like you can fuel your fucking car with it. So when I found a male from that, I decided to keep it. Asked him if I could do some breeding with it. He said no problem. Hopefully we can get him in the stream. Hopefully. You guys never said what y'all was smoking. What we smoking on in the building, man? All you people and y'all mean to tell me y'all ain't smoking on nothing? What we smoking on in here? I lost his Empire Pie. It was fire. Yo, that boy Empire breeds some. Bro, if you didn't run that dominatrix yet, you lost, man. Man, run that dominatrix, run that lemon lava drop, man. I'm telling you that pressure, pressure. Barbecue Gorilla was pressure too. The worst part is I had to get a clone of the barbecue gorilla from one of the homies because all the barbecue gorillas I popped just so happened to be male. Popped 6 seeds, got 6 males. I guarantee you the 4 fucking seeds that I got left out of that. I always buy 2 packs usually of seeds. So I could pop a pack and then stash a pack. So out of that pack, there's still like 4 left, and I guarantee you all 4 of those are gonna be females. You got some dominatrix seeds. You ain't popped those yet? Fuck is you doing? Yeah, fuck is you doing? That bro, that strain is fire. Big yielder too. Big yielder. Produces hella nice. The lava was fire. Married with children, yeah. I ran the married with children. It ain't the smoke preference for me. That's what really made me get rid of it. And it stayed a little bit too short for my liking, and I could tell that was probably the wedding cake in it. The last of my gelato split press. Wait, gelato split. Isn't that a Frosty strain? Didn't Frosty create the gelato split? Am I tripping? Muddy Bear, let me know. Didn't Frosty create the gelato split? Yeah, I don't know if you guys seen, but Loki Grow just did a new update on Instagram. His garden's looking nice as always. I always wanted to go with them undercurrent systems. Them undercurrent systems is mean. The only thing I don't like is one, they take a fuck ton of power. Two, if something goes left, it's over. Like it's over. Over. At least you got some kind of buffer when you're dealing with when you're dealing with like cocoa, uh especially cocoa. At least you got some kind of buffer. Anything else, you got a huge buffer. But yeah, I knew it. See, I know my boy be out here growing. I knew that was a frosty strain. Yeah, so I always did want to go with those current culture systems, but god damn, man, fuck that. Maybe when I got shit a little bit more down pat, I could do that. But until then, fuck that. But once you got it all set up and everything is going good, and I'm saying, I guess you really don't have those problems to worry about. Most of them don't have to deal with bugs. Some of them still do, but I hear copycats say all the time he don't spray his plants at all at all. I'm like, man, I'd be scared as fuck to go ahead and do around that. I don't got to spray. But I guess if the room's clean, the room's clean. But I know doors got to open and you have to come from outside. So the shit can happen. If you ain't got those sticky traps to walk past on the floor and all sorts of barriers that spray you off when you come into the facilities and all of that, I still think there's a chance that I could bring bugs in. So I would still spray some type of organic pesticide. Nothing toxic. Like if you still out here spraying fucking Eagle 20 or something, I'm saying you tripping. But there's some good organic shit. Sulfur kills almost anything. People sleep on sulfur. I use Sulfoil X, and it's a sulfur extract. That shit kills everything from powdery mildew to any bug that has to breathe through its skin. So almost any type of mite. You know what I'm saying. I know a lot of y'all got animals, so sometimes you got to deal with the pests coming every year. It's like 2 times a year where the bugs really bloom out there, like the fleas and the mites and the rest of the shit that can attack your dog. I just go out there twice a year, spray it with the Sulfoil X, let it dry. After it dries, it's good to go. Just sulfur. Same shit that they use on grapes to not have to deal with the mildew. Same shit they use on the cucumber. Same shit they use on the squash. Same shit that they use on all of those plants that mildew easy. They usually using sulfur, especially grapes. Definitely usually using sulfur. They actually use other very toxic fucking chemicals in grapes. So when they went to get wine in California, somebody sent the wine to get tested for the same type of pesticides that are illegal in the cannabis industry, and almost every wine that came out of California failed that pesticide test. It's facts. So sometimes you just gotta watch it. Goes back to the good old days. See, this is where I like the old growers at, where they did sorry, they did so much for themselves, man. So much for themselves. They pretty much were living off of the grid before people were living off of the grid. Had they little shack, they shack up the whole fucking summer to make sure that you had something good to smoke. So I definitely appreciate them for everything that they went through. Those was our warriors back in the day. Today it's easy. Today it's easy. Go to the fucking hydro store, get everything you need. Go to Amazon, ship right to your door, all nice and discreet. Comes with fucking instructions telling you how to set it up. Nah, back then you had to build that thing your fucking self, or hopefully you had a friend that was doing what you was doing to help you build a room, to make sure that it's insulated properly, to make sure you can get good air conditioning in there, to make sure that you can do everything you need to do to make sure indoor rounds go right. Like these growers were they had a hard time getting this shit together. Hard fucking time. That's why I think instead of hating on the newer generation, they should really appreciate them, because look where you took them. You should be proud of your fucking creation. You created this. I wouldn't be on here doing no cannabis podcast without y'all. Y'all should be proud of that. Sulfur is the best. Frosty facts. I couldn't be on here doing this podcast without you growers back then. I couldn't be out here doing the grows we're having. A lot of us couldn't be here doing any of this if it wasn't for the old growers giving out that information. And this dates back, like I'm not talking about just the older growers in America. I'm talking about the people who originally was cultivating these crops, teaching, learning how to cross and everything. This is information that spread across the fucking world. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. You know what some of them had to go through to keep genetics? And places like South Africa, where they allowed Monsanto to come through, and the only reason that they stopped Monsanto from doing what he was doing, because the pesticide that he was spraying was killing the trees as well. So South Africa was like, fuck that, we ain't gonna spray it no more. But you can't imagine the amount of genetics that got lost in situations like that. A shout out to the people who were able to keep seeds from those and be able to bring it back to life afterwards, because we wouldn't have nothing we had today if it wasn't for them taking those chances. Shout out to them. Y'all still never said what y'all smoking on. What we smoking? If you smoking. Me? God damn, what the fuck am I smoking? Hold on. Hazmat OG. Hazmat OG, I believe, from Archive Seed Co. Yeah, one of my homies did this. Great fucking job. She's pressure. That's another fucking good seed bank that I don't really hear much about. Archive. They created the Dosi Do. Know what I'm saying? Imagine how many strains that we wouldn't have without the Dosi Do. Dosi Do's in a lot of strains too. And Dosi fire. Oh, please tell me you seen Frosty's fucking greenhouse running that Dosi outdoor. Oh my. What? What? That Dosi was out there stunting in the sun. Just what? Smoking on some slurricane. Hey, you know what I like about slurricane? It got a real distinct look to it. Even when it's growing, you can tell the slurricane. You could tell it. It got a different look to it. I like strains like that. I like strains that got different looks, just like OG Kush Breath. Now, would I grow OG Kush Breath? No. I cross it with some shit to make something else because I want those traits that come from it. And the fucking flower's fire. It's always the fucking weirdos. It's always the weird ass strains that produce you the fire, son. That OG Kush breath is pressure. But goddamn, to run a whole room and get like a fucking 3/4 pounds per table like that strain looks like it's re-vegging from the second that it grows. The OG Kush breath is a very weird one. I got a peanut butter cookie F2 that was heavy OG Kush breath dominant, like super heavy OG Kush breath dominant. I think I got like 3 phenols that were like that. Every single one of them produced buds that just were so unique, like the look of them. Now I'm saying it was almost hard to trim because it was so like knobby. It was beautiful, nice dense buds, smelt like straight gas and cookies. Loved it. I may pop some more peanut butter cookie F2s, but the peanut butter cookie I got is phenomenal. Phenomenal in the class of its own. But that Polly Shore, man. Oh man. Shout out to the homies, man. This is something else you got to do. Build you a circle. Build you a circle of people that hold on. Drop my damn lighter. Build you a circle of people who you trust enough to get your strains to. So what I do is I back my strains up between like 3 people. So I got like 3 people that as soon as I get something, I mom it out, I clone it, and then I send it to the homies. So in case something happens to this strain in my garden, I still have access back to these genetics. Do you know how many genetics are lost? Do you know how many good phenols got lost because somebody decided to be stingy and not even give like one of their right hand nans the fucking cut? Like, bruh, just look, just tell him to keep a fucking mom of it. And I'm saying, just in case I ever need it back, I do every time I get a strain that I feel like is a keeper. One of the homies get it. A couple of the homies fucking get it if they'll take it. I ain't gonna say all the homies always got room. I'm not just gonna assume all the homies got room. So I just check with a couple of different homies, like, yo, you got some space in your veg area? Yeah, bro, I got a whole spot cleaned out. Okay, bet I need to send you like 3 or 4 strains to make sure that I keep this. I hunted for Motor Breath 15 for 3 years. Took me 3 years to get the nah, like 2 years. Took me like 2 years to get that cut of Motor Breath. Do you think that I didn't send that out to the homies the second I got my fucking hands on it? Yeah, hell yeah. What here? And shout out to my homie for getting it to me. The homie Northside Doja. Northside Doja. That was the homie who got me the Motor Breath number 15. Homie really looked out. Nah, I got it from a friend. I got it from Northside Doja. That's who got me it. Because the Motor Breath 15 is a clone only. Now, I'll probably still wind up eventually hunting through the Motor Breath because it's fucking Chemdall crossed with SFVOG. It gets no gassier than that. That's pretty much a headband brought into the future, and I'm saying because headband, if I'm correct, is OG crossed with sour. If I'm correct, I might be wrong on that, but I believe it's sour crossed with OG. That's what headband is. So I say that Motor Breath is the newest version of headband that we got, with the chem being more sour dominant, more of that deep, pungent, dead skunk aroma, and then you got the OG bringing that real 93 fuel into it. So you can't even imagine the type of phenols you would find out of that. So I'll probably still wind up hunting through some Motor Breaths. Yo, Jordan Williams, you got some Motor Breath seeds, bro? Let me find out you got some fucking Motor Breath seeds. We about to do some trading, bro. I'll pop the vault open for you. Hunt through some Motor Breaths. Hell yeah, we can find something special out of that. And then send it to all our homies to breed with. That's another thing I did. That's another thing I do. As soon as I find out one of my homies is breeders, bro, I ain't saving no face. Oh, you breeding? What you crossing right now? Ew, bro. Like, what the fuck? The fuck you crossing that for? Well, I'm still trying to get my hands on a few more genetics to be able to, listen, send the info, bro. We gonna get you hooked up. I can't have you out here breeding no bullshit. Like, I need you. If you're gonna be breeding, I want you to start with at least the best of the best. Bro, don't feel no type of way because it's a copycat S1. Every cut that I get from Elevated Cannabis is a copycat cut usually. Came from a copycat S1. My other homie, Grow God, I believe with Grow God with 2 D's, all one word. So it's all one word, but it's Grow GODD, if I'm correct. You'll see it. It's like a little blue avatar he got for his shit. That's the homie right there. He grow hella copycat gear. I think everything in his fucking garden is copycat gear. Pressure, all of it. All of it. Don't let my experiences be yours. My goal is just document my growths, let you know the experience that I had from, I don't care who it is. I don't care who the genetics came from. If something happens, something happens. Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? So don't just assume that copycat just got a bunch of boof out here running around. Like, you can hashtag his name. Is some really good strains in there. Sour Diesel times SFVOG Kush F4. Yo, ganja grower, where you get that? Who you? Oh, 707 or 810. Oh yeah, I forgot there's two different kinds of headband. Yeah, there's the 707 and the 810. Yeah. Bro, go for it. Go for it. Never let somebody else's experiences be yours, because if you ask copycat about Seed Junkie, he gonna tell you that Seed Junkie gonna sell you a bunch of gear that's about to harm on you. And I've grown Seed Junkie gear and I've never gotten a harm from them, not once. I've grown maybe 6 different phenols of ice cream cake. All of them was good. Never had a harm me. Never had no issues. He'll tell you that Seed Junkie's gear is going to harm me on you. He's going to tell you that anyone who's making S1s is going to give you a whole bunch of harmies. So don't listen to people, man. Don't even listen to me. I tell you guys, don't take what I'm saying as cut and print. Beast Coast said it. That's what it got to be. Hell no. Who the fuck am I? I'm just here to tell you guys my experiences. That's it. And I want to hear you guys' experiences. That's why I made a podcast, for you guys to be able to have some input on this too. I don't just want to be on here giving information about shit I don't even know about. Like, hopefully I could get Wolverine Grower on here one day, because I don't know nothing about DLI. I don't know nothing about PPFDs and all of that shit. I feel like growers have been growing hella good weed, getting massive yields long before they paid any attention to that. When Medi Cropper recessed the fucking Gavitas into his ceiling in that facility, did that alien riff monocrop, hit a true 3 pounds per light, showed it, did documented it from start to finish. Like, he hit 3 pounds of light, no issue, with no controllers, no nothing. He didn't have shit. He had a thermometer in there that was so fucking foggy you could barely see what the humidity was. His humidity was so high it was raining from the ceiling. That's how much control of the environment he had. He did 3 pounds of light on the money. 50 lights. What did he do? Yeah, what was it? I think it's 25. I think each room was like 25 lights. Yeah, two 25 light rooms. I think he did 75 out of the alien rift monocrop. And if I'm correct, that winds up being 3 a light. Yeah, so he did 25 recessed Gavitas into the ceiling, no controllers, no timers, no what the fuck is them controllers? No pulse monitors, no nothing. And he still did 3 pounds of light with Gavitas recessed into the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Sharing air from another room that was adjacent to it. So it wasn't like he had the best control over it, because the lights would be off in one room and on in another room. He would take the warm air from the room that was on, suck it into the room that was off, and it would help to heat that room overnight, just to keep the VPD in the range that he wanted it to be in. And doing that, he still winded up hitting massive yields. And I'm talking about, he did walk through his canopy, and you can see how big the buds were. He was doing 2.5 to 3 pounds of light with no controllers, no nothing, 5 years ago. So I don't think that everything is so necessary, but I know people want to upgrade their growth. So I get people like Wolverine on here to be able to tell you guys about DLI and PPFD and all of the other shit that comes along with the technical aspects of it. I'm not into that. I'm still learning it little by little. Know what I'm saying? Basically, he does 11 hours on, 13 hours off. I've heard of people doing that for the longest, and it works better for some strains, because some strains don't like to deal with 12-12. Some strains just don't. Know what I'm saying? They're used outdoor. I've never seen a strain get 12 direct, especially 18 and 6. Know what I'm saying? 18 and 6 is good and all, but I've never seen the sun out for 18 hours in a fucking day. Never. You've never seen the sun out for 18 hours in a fucking day. So I'm not saying that there's no valuable information that comes along with this, but I'm not the one that's going to explain it to you and fuck that whole science up. I'm going to let Wolverine come in and give you that good old science. And even if I disagree with some of the shit that he says, that's not what he's going to be on my show for. He's going to be on my show for me to ask him questions and to get answers to y'all. Who the hell am I to say that he's right or wrong and I don't know anything about the goddamn science? Exactly. If it is that long, it definitely ain't full intensity. Definitely ain't. So think about all of the strains that been flowering under 10, 11 hours of light. They will probably do better at 11 and 13 than they would at 12 and 12. You guys are more focused on that extra hour of light. Now I'm saying, how much bigger can my plant get with that extra hour of light? Okay, but with 3 less hours of light than you giving it at 12, 12, they flower outdoor and do 3 pound plants with no issue. Dense buds, beautiful top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? So 11 and 13 would definitely work, but I would rather have him come in here to explain the DLI and everything into you. I haven't studied it enough. I think the science only been out about a year on it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really up on it yet. Yeah, hell yeah, ganja grower. We think we got this shit to a science, but this plant been here longer than humans. This plant has been here longer than humans. All plants have been here longer than fucking humans. Granted, they find a new species of plant every day, but that doesn't mean that that species isn't fucking ancient. They just found it. You got to remember, there's a massive chunk of the Amazon jungle that has not been tampered with. They can't even get through it. It's such a dense jungle. The only reason we find it what we find it now is luckily due to the fact they're clearing it out to make soybean to feed to the cattle so they could feed cattle to the human. I'm saying it's fucking stupid. We're gonna cut the lungs of the planet out the planet to grow vegetables to feed to the animals that are causing the planet to have issues in the first place. I don't think that's the smartest thing, but we got what the fuck is the name of it? Penicillin, I believe it was. There's one of the major antibiotics that we use right now that came from the Amazon. That came from the people who live in the Amazon. That was a plant that they have been using. The ayahuasca that they're using down in the Amazon. That is fucking science. If you don't think that's science, that's fucking science. There's 150,000 different species of plants in the Amazon jungle. And out of the 150,000 different plants, these people were able to find two plants that don't grow next to each other that work to make a ridiculous hallucinogen that is amazing. You guys might want to go look up ayahuasca if you're not on that yet. But out of 150,000 plants, they were able to find two plants that were able to make this happen. Now, both plants by themselves don't do absolutely anything. Add these two plants together and cook it properly, and it makes a brew that will send you skyrocketing through the fucking universe for 6 hours straight. That's science. That's science. The harpoons that they used to use to see, now you got me thinking about what the name of the goddamn drug that they came the I believe it's the anesthesia. I believe we wouldn't have anesthesia if it wasn't for South America, the people who live in the Amazon, because one of their main protein sources is monkeys. So let's say you blow a dart and you hit a monkey that's all the way up in the top of the trees. By default, as soon as it gets killed, its tail will wrap around the tree, and now you got your food 90 feet in the fucking air stuck to a tree. So they found a way to paralyze it through using I think it's like 13 different plants that it takes to even make it to be able to paralyze them. So as soon as you shoot it, it falls straight to the ground. That's fucking science. These plants have been here since way longer than humans, and we're sitting here thinking that we know how to work these plants. We don't know how to work these goddamn plants. If you ain't giving them the exact same circumstances that they would have had outdoor, then it's already an unnatural process and they're not going to react the same. That's why indoor looks very different than outdoor. Smoke wise, I prefer to smoke outdoor, but look wise and bag wise, I prefer to grow indoor. When I grow my outdoor, ain't nobody getting shit. Ain't nobody getting shit. Smoking all that shit because I'm only growing shit that I want to smoke. But if I need to get a big harvest in and be able to get to a bag, and I'm saying I'm gonna do that somewhere else, and I'm gonna grow something that finished by September, and we crop that out, and boom, 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 we good. Don't forget to drop any questions. You guys got any questions? Feel free to drop them into the chat. I might not keep y'all too much longer. I just thank you guys for even tuning in, man. This shit is a blessing in disguise to me, man. I never thought that I would start a podcast and be able to get people in here, good people, meet some really great growers, link up with some real good people. Let me know what that is, bro. You guys just hold on 1 second. I just got to run to the bathroom real quick. So just hold on 1 second. 1 second. My bad, my bad, my bad. I'm back. How long do you dry your cannabis after harvest? Okay. So usually I'll say 7 to 14 days is what I'll dry it as, but depending on the size of your room and depending on how big of a harvest you got to start a little early. So I might start trimming day 8, maybe 9. Yeah, I might start trimming day 8, maybe 9, because by the time that I get to the very last plant in the room, it might take me 2 or 3 days to get through everything that I'm saying. So, as I'm trimming through everything in the room, as plants keep getting removed, the humidity is going to keep dropping. As the humidity keeps dropping, things are going to start drying a little bit faster. And then you're either going to have to add humidifiers into the room, which you don't want to fucking do, or you're just going to have to pick up the speed on the trimming. And I usually just pick up the speed on the trimming. So I might start at like day 8, day 9, but I might not be done until day 14, day 13, 12, something around that. It depends on the size of the harvest. But I got to start early. So by the time that I'm at the first one, when I get to the last one, it's not bone dry and turning into fucking dust because I've waited 14 days to even start the first one. So if I let everything dry 14 days, then by the time that I'm finished, shit dried 17, 18 days. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want that. So you might have to start at like day 9, day 10, day 8, just to be able to, by the time you get to the last plant, to be able to have it dried properly. Now, the first couple of ones that you trim for like the first day or two, you might have to leave them in turkey bags. They might have to stay open a little bit because they might still be a little bit more moist than you would like them to be. But some that you just got to deal with it the way you got to deal with it when it's big harvests. And I don't have any trimmers, you know what I'm saying? So where I'm at, it just ain't happening. I don't have no trimmers. So I trim my whole harvest by myself. Hand trim everything. I ain't got no machines. I ain't got no tumblers. I ain't got no nothing. Hand trim everything. What I usually do is sometimes I'm lazy and I don't even do it. Sometimes right before I harvest, I'll go through and I'll try to cut as many big leaves off of the plant as I'm getting them down. So that way, by the time it's time to get to it, everything's dried pretty much thoroughly through and through. Because some strains are just leafier than others. So if you don't trim a lot of those big fan leaves off, that's another good thing that comes with monocropping. When you monocropping, everything's the same through and through. You good to go. You could treat everything the same, run it the same. Monocrops is where it's at. Max 2 strains per room. I got a question for y'all in the chat. What's your favorite strain that's out right now? Newest shit that you had that just impressed you beyond belief. What's the hottest strain that's out right now, according to y'all? The one that you've smoked or grown and like the most. Which strain is really getting y'all attention right now? One of the strains that's really catching my attention right now might be jet fuel gelato. I seen what the fuck is their name? Compound Genetics released the jet fuel gelato cross with white runts. That one has been commanding my attention. I can't wait till they drop that. Trust me, I'm gonna get my hands on it. Um, Frosty got a lot of strains that he's about to do that I would be looking forward to. Face on Fire is something that I'm looking forward to. There's some other seed junkie gear that I definitely want to hunt through as well. Um, some strain called Royal Wedding. It's a cross between Four Kings and Wedding Crasher. Okay. Bro, GMO is pressure. Pressure. That GMO is fire, bro. I just swear to God, I can't fucking deal with no 13-week strain in my garden. It would just throw everything off. And even though it's a big yielder and the 13 weeks actually pays off because you can get a ridiculous yield off of running GMO, I just ain't got time for that shit. I'll grab some from Low Key Grow when he finish. Yeah, bro. The GMO go anywhere between like 11 to 13 weeks. GMO run for a long fucking time. I don't even know what the cross is. I know it's Chem Dog crossed with, I don't know. GMO is Chem Dog crossed with something. I know it stands for garlic, mint, and onions, if I'm correct, and it was originally called garlic cookies, if I'm right. GMO cookies, aka garlic cookies, crossing Chem Dog with Girl Scout cookie. Chem Dog crossed with Girl Scout cookie. What makes it run 13 weeks? I don't know, because I didn't know that Chem Dog runs 13 weeks, and I didn't know that Girl Scout cookie run 13 weeks. So I don't get why a cross of the two of them would run so goddamn long. That's the reason most people are just breeding with GMO, to try to get the flowering time on it shortened down, instead of just running big rooms of GMO. Great strain though. Great strain. Smoke that shit all day. That'd be a go-to smoke for me. Like if I was in a dispensary, I would definitely look to see if they had some GMO. How many of y'all had the guava when Jigga from Cookie Fam, when Jigga from Cookie Fam created the guava? How many of you guys were able to try the guava? I'm gonna tell you now, that guava is fire. I'm talking phenomenal. Phenomenal, and it smells exactly like a guava. I don't know. Most people just had like guava drinks, and I learned that afterwards, because I posted a picture of a guava one day, and everybody was like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "It's guava. You never had a fucking guava drink or nothing before?" It was like, "Yeah, but I only had the drink. I never had the fruit." I'm like, God damn. They sell them shits right in Walmart, Price Chopper, everything. But yeah, when they created the guava was pressure. Skipped right over too. I don't know what winded up happening, that the guava winded up skipped over, but god damn, it kind of got ignored. That strain should have been a lot bigger. You should see a lot more crosses. If you still have the opportunity to even go back and get the guava, then yeah, you might want to go do that. Let me show you guys a guava, because most people don't even understand. Hopefully you guys seen that. But yeah, that's a guava. Grapefruit. Full of fucking seeds though, so be prepared. You bite into a guava, you definitely gonna be crunching on a bunch of seeds. Almost like a pomegranate, except the fruit isn't like with a pomegranate. You bite it, you get the juices out, you spit the seeds out. But this one, you could chew right through the seeds, and the fruit is actually like the seeds is actually like embedded inside the fruit. You guys never had a guava before. But look, I ain't gonna keep y'all all night. Make sure that you like, subscribe, drop a comment, give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to share the stream into no groups. Don't be afraid to share it with some friends to get them involved into the conversation. We'll be doing more Zoom videos. Sometimes I just don't feel like going through all that shit. But we'll be doing more Zoom videos where you guys will be able to come in, show us your grow. If you're having any issues, ask any questions. It's usually a couple of us on here. I normally got 813 on here. I just been giving him a break. I'll have him back on here soon, probably tomorrow. So yeah, you guys already know. Beast Coast, baby. Yeah.